things I want to cover with you. And one is I want to kind of go back to unconditional faith.
Good.
In your book, you talk about faith. You define faith as freedom from fear.
Yes.
Yes. And so unconditional faith, I'm assuming that is like no matter what, I am devoted.
I think, and firstly, the only thing that's unconditional, I think, is faith. And I don't really use the term unconditional faith because that's
Right.
sort of suggesting, oh,
Okay.
he's got conditional faith and he's got unconditional
Okay. So
faith.
faith itself has no
Yes.
conditions. If you have faith, you have no conditions on that faith.
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's the purity beyond
Okay.
belief. We have belief system. You believe this list of things. You are a Muslim. You believe this list of things. You're a Buddhist. You believe
Right.
this list of things. You're a Judeo-Christian, whatever. That's belief. You need to believe those things and say, I believe, to become a member of that community and so on. And there are people who are filled with belief and have very little faith,
Yes.
in my experience.
Yes.
And there are
Yes.
people who are filled with faith and have no belief.
Yes.
They don't belong to any religion, but their lives are lives of faith and expressed. What it comes down to is the constancy, this simple formula. Everything that happens to you, whether good or not good, is a test of faith. And so faith is that. It is the constant running through your life. So that when you have a calamity, if your faith is strong, when that calamity happens to you, you say, how can I be worthy of this? My faith is strong. How can I be worthy of this? Is your first question to yourself. I need to rise to this. I need to be worthy of this. How can I help? How can I be involved? If the lack of faith will plunge the person, and I know this from my personal experience, a lack of faith in myself, in my friends, my family, and so on, in anything beyond this, my lack of faith is what plunged me into cataclysmic despair when I faced real hardships in my life. I became a junkie. I gave up. I threw it all away. I did not have any faith in myself and the others around me that I would survive it, that it would pass, and that I was strong enough to get through it, and so on. Faith is what gives you this. And how do you get that? There's a kind of formula, and it's the same in life, in this material world, and it's the same thing in the spiritual. There's affinity. People meet and they have an affinity. Oh, gee, you like video games. So do I. What? What's your score on this? No, I beat that last time. There's an affinity, whatever it is. It might be racing cars. I don't know, but they have an affinity. That can turn into affection. And affection is the first cousin of love. And love is the first cousin of trust. When there's enough love over a period of time, people may love each other deeply and yet still have a jealousy thing inside or whatever, and not 100% trust the other person. Over time, enough love and enough true love will build trust. And trust is critically important, fabulous thing. But beyond trust is faith. You can trust that your partner is not going to betray you, but it's a different thing when you have faith. Faith is someone could bring you a film of your partner doing something and you grab them by the ear and drag them down to the police station and say, I want this person arrested for making a false declaration because this could not happen. My faith is, I know this cannot happen.
Yeah.
Beyond, oh, well, I trust the person, but I'm not sure. Maybe it did happen. Faith is unshakable and unconditional. Yes. And it's very hard to get there. But once you get there, it gives you that freedom from fear. And it's a responsibility. You have prosperity. How are you going to deal with that? Is it going to, warp your mind? Are you going to become, a nasty person as a result of it? Or is your faith strong enough to say, am I worthy of this opportunity that's been given to me, this prosperity? How can I do this in the most beneficial, positive way without thinking about your faith? Because your faith drives you to that perspective.
Yeah, so if a good thing happens or what we call a bad thing or a hard thing happen, it's how can I be worthy of this?
Yes.
And I think that we don't ask that question, but we certainly don't ask that question when a bad thing happens. We're like, oh, poor me. How can I be worthy of this? And that really, there's so much power in that. I can feel it. I can see it. If we did that, how can I be worthy of this challenge? It's like, whoa,
Yes. Yes.
there is no victim.